Boco is a hard-working diesel engine. He keeps engines in order and keeps them in line. He tries to handle trucks, but he handles them mostly fine. He is also friends with Edward. One day, Boco had a day off, so he decided to sleep in a siding, Crosby. He decided to sleep in a siding so engines wouldn't crash into him. He was also sent to help out engines. One would come later. Oh, stop! We're not ready! Screamed the cars. But the engine carried on. Don't talk! Come on! He puffed angrily. He bumped the coaches angrily and hard. Ow! James pulled into the station, fuming with anger. But the cars weren't going to take this harassment. They started planning as soon as James left the station. Nearest the top, snap the coupling, they whispered to each other. James was oblivious to this as he approached toward his hill. He was struggling to get up the hill as the cars pulled back, but James slowly made it to the top. Boco was at the bottom of the hill to help James. But James had made it to the top of the hill, so he began to oil away. But then, the coupling snapped on James's cars as he approached the top. Yes! Yes! We've broken away! They yelled. Chase them! Bump them! Whoever's on the rails, drown them! They laughed. Boco had trouble starting. But as the cars bumped into him, they caught him with a jolt down the line. How do we stop them? The cars are too powerful! Shouted his driver. Boco was horrified, but things only got worse. The yards at Crosby were busier than ever, and Boco was heading straight for Rex's railroad train. He hoped Edward got over the points in time. Look out! Shouted Boco as he fast up and headed straight for Crosby. But Boco headed straight for the points to a barber shop, which had been recently prepared. Boco braced for impact and crashed straight into the barber shop, splashing dust everywhere. As the dust cleared, the damage was done. The shop was destroyed, and the cars had won. James came back to the barber shop later that day. He wasn't surprised by what he saw. Trucks can't be troublesome. I knew they would cause something like this. They always plan, they always trick. But no matter what, they almost always end up derailing. So James left to get the breakdown train. Soon, Boco was eventually put back onto the tracks, but it was nighttime when he did so. He felt foolish, but he knew that it wasn't his fault. Soon, Boco was taken to the works, feeling quite brave, but nervous at the same time.
One morning at David Sheds, the engines were talking about a new engine coming to the island.
Did you hear? Asked Duck. Hear what? A new engine is coming to the island. I hope he's Great Western. Nonsense, said Gordon. They must be one of the greatest earlier engines. Like me. The Indians continued talking about the new engine for a few minutes. After hours of waiting, the engine arrived. Good morning, my dear engines. This is Nathan. I have agreed to give him a trial. He'll stay on the island until his trial ends. Well, I have to go now. Good afternoon, everyone. And with that, he walked away. Percy decided he would give the engine a warm welcome. Welcome to the island of Shut up! Excuse me? Asked Percy, annoyed. All of you steamers are just useless scrap. We diesels are more reliable. We've said this before. We come to a yard and improve it. We know everything. And with that, Nathan oiled away without saying another word. The Indians liked Nathan at first, but now they weren't so sure. At Crosby, Barry was waiting in a siding when James pulled up next to him. Have you heard about the new diesel? Asked James. No. What's with him? Well, he's disgusting. He yelled at the engines in every station. He didn't even apologize. Well, that doesn't sound right. Just then, a signalman walked up to Barry. They need you at Wasworth. They say it's an emergency. You must get there as soon as you can. Well, this better be something good, or this was a complete waste of time, said Barry as he puffed away. Good luck, James told him. When Barry got to Wasworth, the station master was waiting for him. Glad you're here. The new diesel got stuck on a hill with the express. Well, it seems this is a real situation, said Barry. Up on the hill, Nathan rests tired over the express. His cooling system hasn't been maintained for weeks, and it failed as a result. Wait, I think I forgot something, said his driver. Well, you should just check it before we go, said Nathan crossly. A few moments later, Barry appeared by his side. Well, you must be the new engine, right? Just shut up and help me, said Nathan. Okay, jeez, said Nathan as he looked on. Soon, Barry was called up to Nathan. Well, now it's time to prove that steam engines are better than diesel engines, said Barry as he started off. After taking Nathan down the line, they soon stopped at every station. I've done it, he said to himself. Presently, Sir Topham had arrived. Well done, Barry. I should have asked this engine driver if his cooling system was maintained. It looked like it hadn't, but regardless, you are a really useful and enterprising engine. And so, Barry continues to pull passenger trains on down the line to this day. And as for for Nathan. He was repaired and sent back to the mainland in disgrace, but left two things behind: an army sprawl and a busted cooling system. Lots of engines come to the island of Sodor. Some are visitors, and others are here to stay. And others are a different story. One day, an important express train had to be pulled. However, there were limited options. Thomas and Percy were too small to do it. James and Emily had to pull goods trains later. Gordon was out for maintenance, and Henry was out pulling the flying kipper. Stubborn had then remembered he had ordered a new engine, and as if right on cue, puffed 98462 into average sheds.
Good morning.
He said slyly.
Feels good to see you engines again. Especially you, Thomas.
Thomas remembered the last time he saw 98462. He had stolen Annie and Clarabelle after a talk with Thomas about his merchandise and fan base. Now, sir, said Thomas, when you had that argument with him, you said that he would scrap them. Why is he here again? Oh, Thomas, you misheard. After you puffed away, I said that I wouldn't scrap them. Indeed, I wouldn't dare. So, I decided to send him back to the BR to teach him a lesson and to get him over some things. And I decided to give him a trial. No 98462, I have a mission for you. You are to board an important express train. From this, I will see if you are worthy of staying on my railway. Try not to make mistakes, but do keep in mind, I will be on board.
Yes, sir,
said 98462 as he puffed away confidently. But he wasn't so happy as the engines thought. And 98462 had been feeling a bit grumpy ever since he got back on Sodor. Screamed the coaches.
No need to be so rough.
come on, come on.
He puffed angrily. Why, 98462? Why? Why did you have to steal my coaches over a fan base? Me personally, I think you have good fan base. It's just that people portray you as a killer too much. Is that your problem? It's been years since that happened. Are you over it by now? If not, then you should be over it. Otherwise, some bad things might happen.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, over over time, he began to feel a bit angry. His hallucination with Thomas a couple of minutes ago had started to take a toll on him.
Flaming Thomas thinks he runs the whole place. Marching around here telling me what to do. Speak to me like that. Come out and try your fingers.
Oh, hello, 99462. I remember you back from the old days, back when I was still a young engine at the time. Hey, come to think of it, you've been a bit of a prankster back when I've seen you. Don't get too worked up in your smoke box. Slowly but surely, 98462 began to get distracted. To the hill, things started to go wrong. The points were set for an old line, but 98462 didn't see this.
Slow down, old boy.
What there?
Unfortunately, this time, a lot of passengers were hurt. No accident like this has happened before on the railway, but it was going to get worse from there. 98462?
Yes, sir?
What is the meaning of this? 98462 tried to say something, but it just came out as stammering. Why did you go down the old line and endanger me and many other passengers by going into this field? No accident like this has ever happened before on this railway. Hey, now that I think about it, ever since you came to my railway, you've been a troublemaker, pulling brakes on engines non-stop. This was to see if you were worthy of staying on this railway. But now that this has happened, and your clumsiness, I don't think you are. Sir Topham had decided to send 98462 away for good, not to return. So the lesson for today, don't get too worked up on your past mistakes, or you might suffer dire consequences. in danger from telling scary stories at Tidmouth Sheds.
You know, Thomas, we did used to have an express that ran through your branch line, but they had to close it down because of an incident.
Ah. Well, that's not that scary, James.
So, Thomas, it's your turn to tell a story.
Well, my story is a personal experience that I've had before. A loss of a friend that I don't know if he deserves it or not. So here we go. It was the early years of Sodor, and some engines had been loaned from different railways. Some made the Walsworth and Sudbury Railway, and some others from the BR. One of these engines was my brother, Timothy. One night, I was getting ready for my nightly passenger train. And not too long after I started getting ready, puffed my brother Timothy into the station. I greeted him kindly and asked how he was doing. But he didn't say anything. He just stared at me, unamused. Now this wasn't the first time he's done this. Sometimes, when I met him, he'd either shout at me, or just not look at me. Now Timothy had a bit of a different appearance than me. His paint was grey, he had no extended side tanks, and he had the number 0 on his side, as if the original or lost engine. He blew his ghostly whistle and left the station in a hurry. Their journey was going well when it started. But the passengers and driver didn't know that Timothy was planning something. Timothy also had some weird tendencies, and I also felt kind of bad for him that night. When he approached Crosby is when his plan entered phase 2. Now the hill is where things started to take a turn for the worst. Timothy went full speed up the hill to prevent the weight from pulling him down. Now normally at the top of the hill, trains are supposed to apply their brakes to slow down, but Timothy's brakes didn't work, so he kept on going full speed. But Timothy had planned for the brakes to not work. Timothy was supposed to stop a Marin, but he just raced right past it. The viaduct was under construction, making things even worse. The driver tried to apply the brakes, but it wouldn't work. It was almost like Timothy was forcing the throttle to go forward, but it was too late. I was later approaching Marin when I was stopped by a signalman. There's been an accident at the viaduct. You can't cross. I wanted to see for myself, so I did. But I wasn't expecting to see what was below the viaduct. I saw smoke and some fire at the bottom of the viaduct. Then I remembered something. I remember that the viaduct was still under construction, and that me and Timothy both had to go this way. But we had to stop at Marin, because the Abbey wasn't complete yet at the time, so I didn't know. Timothy had flew off the viaduct, and I had lost one hours, and so I puffed back to Timothy's sheds, feeling sad. Sorry the story was a bit too sad, but I guess I just wanted to share it with all of you.
Well, this might be the scariest story told this night.
You know, Thomas, I'm surprised no one's told you this up until now. It's why the rules are so strict nowadays on the railway.
Thomas puffed to the back of the sheds, feeling somber. Like you said earlier, the story left a bad taste in his mouth, and the other Rangers had felt this. They also felt sorry for Thomas, but in a way, they felt sorry for Timothy. But does he deserve it? Who knows?